eSports Boxing Club is the next-gen boxing game you've been waiting for. Ahead of its release on Steam Early Access in a few months and a little later on console, here are 7 amazing features you really need to know about. Alright then, we'll start with the advanced animation. Footwork is the foundation of any fighting game, and in eSports Boxing Club, it looks absolutely incredible. Rather than having the animators loop separate clips together, which often results in robotic seeming footwork, what you're seeing here is entirely performance based. That means developers Steel City Interactive got real boxers in to record. You can see every little nuance, from subtle hand twitches to little head dips. The developers have even made efforts to record marquee fighters like Eddie Hall, so they'll move exactly like they do in real life. The only potential issue I can see with performance capture is with its responsiveness. For instance, if the boxers have recorded long flowing sequences, how natural is it going to look when you interrupt them to dodge or throw punches? That's something we'll only be able to find out when we get our hands on the game. Next up, we're detailing the movement system. This system is all about letting you fight from 360 degrees. Whether stepping forward with an aggressive hook, stepping back and throwing a jab to keep your opponent at bay, or pivoting to the side for a cheeky check hook. Boxing is a game of angles, and in ESBC, you'll be using all of them. As a result, what works in boxing should work in the game. For instance, if your opponent rushes you, theoretically, you could circle out and catch them with a blow to the side of the head, rather than backing up in a straight line, as that will get you pinned against the ropes. As the old saying goes, use the pressure of your opponent to your advantage. We've not seen all this in action yet, granted, but what we can see is the crispness of the movement itself. Put this side by side with UFC 4 and the quality is clear. In UFC 4, fighters' feet seem to float across the canvas, but in ESBC, each foot is planted to the floor. This gives more weight to punches, because as we know, if you don't plant your feet before you punch, you will simply float away. Onto the blocking system now, and ESBC is doing something I've not seen done in a boxing game before. That's giving you the chance to use different forms of blocking, which each come with their own pros and cons. For example, the Philly shell method, used by the likes of Floyd Mayweather, blocks body punches automatically. You don't even need to hold the block button. You can let your stance do the work. The devs haven't said what the downside to the Philly shell is yet, but it would make sense that your jab would be a little slower, since its starting point is by your stomach. Taking this a bit further, a naturally high guard would protect the head but leave the body open. You could even have cocky boxers who fight with their hands down and rely on reflexes to slip punches. The danger with the blocking system is taking too much control away from the player, but if the devs get the balance right, it would make for an interesting set of styles. And in boxing, styles make fights. Another way ESBC captures the feel of boxing is with adrenaline. The adrenaline system replaces the traditional health bar, and it works like this. The more punches you throw, the more your stamina goes down. Take damage when you're at low stamina, and you're more likely to get knocked out. But ESBC adds your fighter's heart rate, represented by BPM, or beats per minute. When this rises, it increases your stamina. You can choose to take advantage of the increased stamina by letting fly a barrage of punches and going for a knockout. But if you fail, you'll be gassed out. It's not clear at this stage what conditions actually cause your heart rate to go up, but my bet is pulling off a successful sequence of moves. Like if you block an opponent's flurry, it would make sense to get a little morale boost and a dash of adrenaline, similar to how non-boxers get adrenaline when they order a takeaway. Now we're onto the feint system, and again, it's based on the actual mechanics of boxing. Tap block while throwing a punch and you'll interrupt it. You can use this to bait your opponent into making a move, like blocking high so you can throw a punch to the body. Feinting is all about mixing it up to keep opponents off guard, drawing out reactions so you can capitalize. It's also about disguising your intentions. So here we see Eddie go to throw a body hook, then cancel into a head hook. Another example is baiting your opponent to throw an attack, like a jab, and then countering when they're wide open for more damage. Let's talk Cornermen. In ESBC, what happens between rounds is being handled slightly differently. Instead of swabbing away blood in some morbid little minigame, you'll give motivating pep talks to raise your fighter's stamina. How much stamina you recover depends on the quality of your cornerman. You can hire different cornermen who each give you different cornermen benefits. I think this change to a more vocal style of cornering makes sense, because fighters don't always need their eyebrows stitched up. Managing stamina, however, is something all fighters have to deal with, which is something a great cornerman can boost with a rousing speech. And lastly, we're onto the career mode. In ESBC, you'll work your way through the ranks and try and become a champion. That's pretty standard stuff. But there are a few features here that make the career look like it's gonna deliver something properly authentic. Oh, I should have taken a breath. First off, I like the level of detail put into training camps. You have to decide how much money you want to put towards paying your staff, promoting the fight, opting for a rematch clause, and even taking out insurance in case you get injured in sparring. Scouting out opponents is also a big part of the career, letting you devise different game plans. For example, this guy has a tendency to be more dangerous when he's hurt. When you hire better coaches, they'll give you more info about your opponent, which is something that worked well in UFC 3. Hopefully, there'll be a fun incentive for you to make money, besides endlessly recycling money around your various obligations. Maybe you'll use it to buy new fighter gear or unlock iconic boxes. But the finer details of the career mode are under wraps at this point. So those were 7 amazing features coming in eSports Boxing Club. There's still plenty to improve, but it looks like there's more than enough at this stage to make a solid early access Steam game. From there, you can give the devs your feedback and tell them what you want out of the game. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments what features you'd like to see in the game. Personally, I want to see the return of Fight Night's face wobble cam. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, and subscribe to my channel if you had fun.